وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. And where do you go off judging other people anyway? You should be more preoccupied, instead of worrying about the flaws of others and creating division, you should be preoccupied mentioning and reminding yourself and others of the favor of Allah on you. The favor of Allah on you. إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً. When all of you used to be enemies to one another. You know, Bani Israel in the previous surah became enemies to one another. Allah told them don't spill each other's blood, and they would anyway. Right? And you guys, before Islam came, you were the same way. You were killing each other. Arab tribes were at each other's throats. Aus and Khazraj were not the best of friends. They were at each other's throats too. Allah says, فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ. What's the word alf? What does it mean, alf? 1,000. Alf means tabda bi khatwa, right? Alf. Now, let me tell you something about allafa. Ta'leef. It's called ta'leef, the masdar. Allafa means to take something that's broken up into 1,000 pieces and to put it together. 1,000 means infinite pieces. That's the expression for infinite pieces. Something's broken up completely and you put it together, you bring it together, that is ta'leef. That's the act of ta'leef. Allafa bayna qulubikum. He brought your dispersed hearts, he put this ta'leef, this bond between them. Otherwise they would have been completely dispersed. So the hearts are now united. The cause of that, the hearts being united, is mentioned in the beginning of this ayah, the rope of Allah. It is through the rope of Allah that Allah caused the love to happen between your hearts. فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْ. You know, I'll give you a simple manifestation of that. You see, you meet a hafiz of Quran, a young hafiz of Quran. Oh, naturally you have a love for them. You don't even know them yet, you have a love for them. Why? Because this child has Quran inside. You hear beautiful recitation of the Quran, you naturally have an appreciation for the person reciting. Naturally. You feel a sense of, you know, this person brought me closer to Allah's book when I heard him recite. You don't even know the person. You can't even see him recite. Yahya's not here today, right? Okay. I'll tell you something about Yahya. I was in San Diego, right? I'm teaching the 10-day class this last summer. It's about 150 people in the class. And every salat, amazing recitation at night. And I used to be in like the last row. So people asking questions, iqamah's given, then I have to run to salat. I'm in the last row in Jama'ah. I'm like, who's the shaykh? And he's kind of not very tall, so I'm like, who's the shaykh? Can't find him. I gotta talk to him. And he used to be in the first row in the class, all 10 nights. I never knew it was him. But I already had a love and appreciation because of just the Quran being recited. Just because of that. Allah creates a love between our hearts. What this also means is, the more people, taqwa was already mentioned, yes, in the previous ayah. So that's already understood that you're trying to hold on to your faith. Now Allah is saying that faith is making you love others. So if your faith is such that it makes you judge others and hate on others and be condescending to others and label others, and it doesn't make you love others, then you know the only possibility that can explain that maybe the first ayah what it talked about you don't yet have. What would the first ayah require you to have already? Taqwa. Maybe you haven't tasted the first step, so you can't get to the second. All you see when you see others is reason to be judgmental, reason to be angry, reason to be disappointed. These Muslims are that way, those Muslims are that way. This is a favor of Allah. You used to be enemies to one another. He put love between your dispersed hearts. فَأَصْبَحْتُم بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. And you transformed. أَصْبَحَ يُصْبِحُ إِصْبَاحًا. To transform. You became something entirely different. Only by His favor, you became ikhwanan. Ikhwanan. You know, in Arabic there is ikhwa and ikhwan. There's ikhwatun and ikhwan. Not ikhwan muslimin, please. Okay, so ikhwa is actually blood brothers. Ikhwan is brothers in cause. Even now when you have any kind of sororities or groups, right? You'll say, my brother. In the military, they use brotherhood all the time because it's a very strong kind of camaraderie between fellow soldiers. So brotherhood is used. But literal brotherhood, like actual my sibling brother, is not ikhwan, it is ikhwa. Eventually, when you reach the state of iman, not Islam but iman, then Allah says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. True believers are like blood brothers. They're at that level. When they get that state of iman, it's like their Muslim brother is like their blood brother. That's how strong their love gets. But this is the starting point. You just became this. So you didn't just immediately become ikhwa, you've started to become what? Ikhwan is step one. Hopefully you'll reach the final phase, which is what? Ikhwa. So this you just got started. And you've developed this camaraderie, this brotherhood among yourselves. فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. Wallahi, I told you, right, when I traveled to London, one of the first things I felt, I went to the masjid, I just feel so cool to just meet people that share La ilaha illallah with you across the ocean. Because you're in another world, and yet you have something in common with them that there's nothing stronger that you can have in common with them. You know, you're just in a masjid and somebody's reciting the same Quran. Right? They're reciting the same Quran. It's something very beautiful. You feel the sense of like brotherhood. You know? So this is فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. You became, by His blessing alone, brother. Now, if there are supposedly muttaqeen, pious, righteous people that are at the heart of disagreements and fighting and yelling and screaming and hate and nastiness in our communities, then isn't it this, Allah says بِنِعْمَتِهِ is muqaddam, right? أَصْبَحْتُمْ مُبْتَدَأ, because asbaha is a family of kana. Ikhwanan is mansub because it's the khabar of kana, or khabar of asbaha in this case. بِنِعْمَتِهِ is muta'alliq bil khabar, it's muqaddam. When it's muqaddam, what does that mean? Especially, it is especially by Allah's favor that you became brothers. When someone does not do everything they can to protect that brotherhood, what are they insulting? The special gift from Allah. Allah goes out of His way, especially to give you the gift of turning you into brothers, to unifying you, creating a love between you. When someone doesn't do everything they can to protect that brotherhood, every possible thing they can to protect that camaraderie, what are they kicking to the side? The gift of Allah. A gift of Allah not being appreciated. فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. These ayat are not just knowledge. They're supposed to transform a person's attitude. We're supposed to transform how we deal with masjid politics, how we deal with, rifts between brothers. How do we deal with it? Because now there's a third party involved. It's not just you and someone you have a disagreement with. Now Allah is involved. This is Allah's favor. I can't be ungrateful to it. I can't sacrifice that because of my own, my hurt feelings. فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا وَكُنْتُمْ عَلَى شَفَا حُفْرَةٍ مِنَ النَّارِ. And you were at the very edge. Shafa hufra. Hufra is a ditch. Man hafara hufratan, waqa'a fiha, a ditch. You were at the edge of the ditch. That is filled with what? Min an-nar. Hufratan min an-nar, a ditch filled with fire. This jar majroor is a sifa of hufra. Hufratin min an-nar. Okay? It's a ditch that's filled with fire, and you were at the very edge of it. Bani Israel in the last surah was told multiple times how close to hell they were. ثُمَّ عَفَوْنَا عَنْكُمْ. Then we forgave you. مِن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ. Even after that we let you go. Even after that we let you go. Even after that we let you go. Continuously. But then at one point came, and I want you to compare this, because we're supposed to look at ourselves, in Bani Israel, studying Bani Israel is looking in the mirror for the Muslim. That's what it is, right? In previous surah, Allah finally got to the point where they were violating brotherhood. They were just violating brotherhood. He says, لَا تَسْفِكُونَ دِمَاءَكُمْ وَلَا تُخْرِجُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ ثُمَّ أَقْرَرْتُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَشْهَدُونَ ثُمَّ أَنْتُمْ هَؤُلَاءِ تَقْتُلُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَتُخْرِجُونَ فَرِيقًا مِنْكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ تَظَاهَرُونَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِالْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. He mentions, we told you, we took a contract from you, you're not going to spill each other's blood, then you're the very people that were killing each other, kicking them out of their homes. Isn't this all a violation of brotherhood? It is, yes? Now look at what Allah Azza wa Jalla says. وَإِن يَأْتُوكُمْ مُسَارَى تُفَادُوهُمْ وَهُوَ مُحَرَّمٌ عَلَيْكُمْ إِخْرَاجُهُمْ أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. It is a violation of brotherhood, at which point Allah said, do you believe in some parts of the book and you reject other parts of the book? Same ayah. It's within the ayah. What part of the book did they violate? The part of the book that told them to hold on to, at all costs, brotherhood. وَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ. What should be the compensation of someone who does that among you? إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Except humiliation in worldly life. Sound familiar to the Muslim Ummah? وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. On the day of resurrection they'll be returned to the worst of the punishment. أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. Man, that's what Allah told them when they messed around with brotherhood, when they fought each other. How are we thinking we're an exception? How are we thinking we're an exception? And conveniently, we all somewhat read parts of the book. Allah said to stay away from disagreement. What must you read? Hold on to. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. All of it. Why do you forget parts of the book when the time comes? Where's, أَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا, when you're filing lawsuits against each other? Where did it go? Where did that part of the Quran wasn't relevant anymore? Didn't care to look it up? Didn't care to see that book? That's hujjah, it's going to be there, a case against us. You people were at the edge of hellfire, and He rescued you from it. You should feel this favor of Allah has fallen upon all of you. Why would you wish harm on each other? Why would you want to do that? When people survive something in this world, when people survive like a rough plane landing, people survive like an attack, people survive a train accident or something like that, people survive a sinking ship, even if they didn't know each other before, what happens to them after? The survivors. They form a group, they get together every year, they have this natural love with each other, just because they were together surviving something. What did these people survive? Hellfire. What bigger, if a bus accident can bring people together and they get together every year? What kind of togetherness would come between people who shared the sentiment that Allah saved us from hellfire? How can you hate on each other? وَكُنْتُمْ عَلَى شَفَا حُفْرَةٍ مِّنَ النَّارِ فَأَنْقَذَكُم مِّنْهَا. Then He is the one who rescued you from it. A last comment about this. I know I'm spending more time on this than is justified in the time we have, but regardless, these are important concepts. When someone has taqwa, the first ayah that we discussed here, then the next one was unity. Some of the obstacles to unity is self-righteousness. One of the big obstacles to unity is self-righteousness. You start tasting Islam a little bit, you were a party animal, then you became super Muslim, and now your friends are still party animals, and you become judgmental of them. You look down on them, you say, these guys, such losers, etc., etc. You become very quick to pass judgment on who they are, forgetting very easily what? You were that guy like 2 years ago. You were that guy, right? You forget very easily. So Allah Azza wa Jalla reminds that you were at the edge of hell, and it's not you who saved yourself. It wasn't you that decided, I think this is pretty hot, I'm going to turn around. فَأَنْقَذَ أَنْقَذَ يعني what's the fa'il? ضمير مستتر تقديره هو. يعني Allah. Allahu anqadhakum minha. Allah is the one who rescued you from it. It's not like you decided to turn around. Your decision's only half the story. It is Allah's blessing that He rescued you from it. You didn't earn salvation. He gifted it to you. So how dare you act like you own it? And how dare you judge people who haven't been gifted it yet? فَأَنْقَذَكُم مِّنْهَا كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ آيَاتِهِ. That is how Allah clarifies to you His miraculous signs, to all of you especially, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ, so that all of you may remain committed to guidance. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ. There should rise in an ummah. Ummah means a nation unified by cause. A nation should rise from among you. The ayah already has, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. It began, this passage began, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu taqullah. So the address is already to the Muslims. Allah says a group should rise from among you. You know what that means? People are holding on to the Quran in this ayah that we just finished, in whatever capacity. Some more strongly than others. And the ones who are holding more strongly than others will naturally even gravitate towards each other even more. And they will naturally form an alliance. And that alliance will lead them to do great things. It'll naturally happen. This is a natural progression. From taqwa to being unified through the Quran, to now becoming an ummah within an ummah. Not an ummah, not a fariq. Fariq means ummah outside the ummah. This is an ummah within the ummah. From among you, there should be an ummah. Others have understood that min to mean you all should become an ummah. An ummah should come out of you as a result. You know how you say the flower came from the stem? Right? So the flower is not it's not a fraction of the stem, it is a transformation of the stem. So some say that this min is for transformation. Some say this is a min of proportion, like a group should rise from within you, meaning a subgroup. Others say, no, you should become this ummah. All of you should be transformed into an ummah. That eventually does what? يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. They invite to the good. They invite people to the good. Al-khayr. وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. And they command people to what is known to be decent. Ma'ruf is from عرف يعرف عرفا فهو عارف. عارف عرف يعرف عرفا فهو معروف. اسم مفعول. It's اسم مفعول. If عارف is someone who knows, what is ma'ruf? The one that is known or the thing that is known. Al-ma'ruf is goodness that is known by everybody. You don't have to teach it because it's already known. You know, there are aspects of our religion you have to teach. The procedure for making wudu you have to teach. The specifics of hajj you have to teach. Goodness to parents you don't have to teach. Humility you don't have to teach. Everybody knows it. Honesty you don't have to teach. Maybe at Wall Street you have to teach, but normally you don't have to teach. Truthfulness you don't have to teach. Kindness you don't have to teach. All of these things are what? Ma'ruf. They're ma'ruf, they're known. Allah says they invite people to good. They're letting people know what we have is something beautiful. I want to share it with you. The act of invitation itself is a friendly act. دَعَ يَدْعُ دَعْوَةً فَهُوَ دَاعٍ. Right? It's to invite someone. And inviting in and of itself is an act of goodness. We think of da'wah as, hey, kafir, produce a surah like it. What's wrong? That's not da'wah, man. Da'wah's come over to my house, let's have some dinner. Khair, the beautiful thing, the good thing. Let me give you an example of al-khair. The Messenger, ﷺ, I told you, right, coming back from Taif, bloodied. This Christian boy, he's got a crucifix hanging from his neck. He helps the Messenger, ﷺ. And he starts making small talk with him. And so where are you from? Oh, you're from there? Oh, my brother Yunus is from there. He was a messenger. The kid becomes Muslim. This is al-khair. Just find something good to say. You're inviting people to goodness itself. People come closer to Muslims and all they notice is goodness. يَدْعُونَ لِلْخَيْرِ. Then if you are going to suggest something, then it should be something that is not alien to people. It is known. So al-ma'ruf, knowing that there's just one God, that we're created for a purpose. And even more practical things like you should be nicer to your neighbor, bro. You should be honest to your boss. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't speak this way to your wife, etc. You can even give that advice to your non-Muslim friends. There's something they can benefit from too. It's ma'ruf. It's ma'ruf. And then amr. Amr is not command only. Ata'ti li amirika, the sha'ir says. The sha'ir, I know it's going to sound inappropriate, but hey, classical poetry was an important source of learning Arabic language. Okay? Even the Sahaba said so. So sometimes these jahili poets literally are jahil. So it makes some whack poetry, but we still use it for references to understand the language better, right? So this guy, his girlfriend broke up with him, so he made a poem. And she broke up with him because she listened to all the people that were telling him he's garbage. So he wrote a poem missing her, and she says, Ata'ti li amirika. You obeyed those who were continually suggested to you. Amiruna, amirina, amir ism fa'il, amiri, and then some mudaf and ka, amirika, right? Oh, you finally listened to those who were constantly suggesting to you that I'm a loser, so you left me, right? Now, the thing is with Amir, it's not people were commanding her to leave. They were doing what? Suggesting. So Amr is degrees. Amr is degrees. Suggesting to someone, advising someone, encouraging someone is Amr. A step above, scolding somebody a little bit, pushing them a little harder is also a second degree of Amr. Then me telling my daughter, hey, wake up. Now that is what? It's also Amr, but it's the highest rank of Amr. So this Amr depends on the context. It depends on the context. And sometimes the Amr bil Ma'ruf can be silence. Yaqub alayhi salam, as far as I understand, Allahu A'lam, did Amr bil Ma'ruf when he said nothing to his sons. When his sons brought the bloodied shirt, he's a father, yes? By definition, he has authority over his sons. So he has the opportunity to give a command, but he doesn't. And his silence was an Amr too. And in his suggestion that he's going to be, Allah musta'an, Allah knows. And what you've come up with. He suggests advising them, look, Allah knows. And that's the Amr they need at that point. Any Amr beyond that will backfire. So he doesn't give it. So this is Amr bil Ma'ruf. It's got degrees. And so it's contextual. How are you going to do amr bil ma'ruf with your friends is going to be different. You have to do amr bil ma'ruf with your parents sometimes. You're in no position to command your parents, but you still have to do amr bil ma'ruf sometimes. So what do you have to do? Advise, suggest, say in a very humble fashion. Find some creative way of doing amr bil ma'ruf. Your father's doing something that's kind of like really out there, crazy. He's getting into the super haram business. And you're very uncomfortable that he's opening up the liquor store. So you just go and say, I was wondering, should we really do this liquor thing? Are you personally really comfortable with it? And he might say, shut up. Go to your room, Mufti Saab. Okay, be quiet, leave. Find another time. And don't just open the ayah and say, halantum, Allah says, rijsum min amal shaitan. It's abomination from the work of the devil. Therefore, ya abi, if you continue to do this, because it won't work. It won't work, right? You have to find ways of doing amr depending on who you're dealing with. This is amr bil ma'ruf. Then even nahi anil munkar, wa yanhauna anil munkar. The next part of the ayah says this ummah they'll be concerned with giving good to people, bringing people back to decency, what is known to be good, and they'll forbid that which is alien. Munkar, ankara yunkiru inkaran fahuwa munkirun, unkira yunkaru inkaran fahuwa munkar. It's a maf'ul again from the af'ala family, right? It's the opposite of ma'ruf. Ankara, to deny something. Munkar, that which is denied, also that which is not known. Ankara also means to not recognize something. You see something completely alien to you, you're like, this is munkar, it's unknown. It's not known at all. Okay? Munkir, someone who denies. Someone who says, I don't know. Munkar, someone who's not known at all. People do things that nobody knows to be good. This is munkar. Beautiful modern manifestations of munkar are sociologists and philosophers that come up with new theories of ethics that nobody's ever heard of, and they're completely out of whack. And the first thing you say is it's unheard of, and the Qur'an's term for that is what? Munkar. And a lot of times these unheard of things are just new manifestations of evil. I went to college, I think it was one of my first sociology classes, and the professor said, yeah, marriage is just an institution we put together naturally, we're not supposed to have any restrictions. Marriage is just a man-made construct or whatever. And I was like, how do you have society then? Oh, no, it's not supposed to be so restricted. We're supposed to be able to have, just like the natural world. What he meant by that is animals. The natural world. We should be what Allah created us above. Because the assumption is we're not above, we're just animals too. There is no ruh, right? That which gave us supremacy, that which gave us this honor and ability. When you deny that there is such a thing inside the human being, then why act any different from animals? You don't have the need for that anymore. This is munkar, unknown, alien. It's unidentified, and hence it's called evil. Evil in that nobody knows it to be good. Nobody knows that to be good. Okay? وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And those are in fact the ones that are the truly successful, the ones who attain success after a long, toilsome labor. Incidentally, munkar also has degrees. Nahi anil munkar is also ranks. Like amr has degrees, is variations, it's a gradient. Just like that, nahi anil munkar is also. So the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, radiyallahu ta'ala, who tells us, Man ra'a minkum munkaran. Ra'a, not ara. What does ra'a mean, guys? To see. Whoever would see among you minkum munkaran, anything alien, unseen, wrong, فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. Then he should change it with what? He should change it with his hand. وَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ. And if he wasn't able to do so, فَبِلِسَانِهِ. Then he should try and change it with what? His tongue. وَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ. And if he can't do so, فَبِقَلْبِهِ. Then he should at least try to have a aversion to that evil in his heart. وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. And that is the weakest state of Iman. By the way, that is not just the weakest state of Iman for an individual, it is also the weakest state of Iman for a society. This surah, this passage began, first people of taqwa that are trying to protect their Iman. Then they fortify their Iman with coming closer to the Qur'an. And then they're able to command the good and forbid the evil. And if they're not able to do so, that means there's something missing in this process. So ذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. This process, if it's in place, then we'll start seeing manifestations of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar in many walks of life. We're going to start seeing Muslims address matters of injustice that everybody knows to be unjust, that are plaguing world societies and our society here in the United States, all in the spirit of bringing Ma'ruf back. And people will identify Islam for what it is, a call to goodness. Al-Khair. He didn't even say Al-Islam. He could have said, يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْإِسْلام. This is the perfect word of Allah. You could say in Tafseer, Al-Khair is Al-Islam. Yes, but Allah chose Al-Khair. Why? Because Al-Islam may not be appreciated by everybody, but Al-Khair, the word Al-Khair is appreciated by Muslim and non-Muslim alike. They're going to call to something that everybody will see as good. That's what they're supposed to call. And Ma'ruf and Munkar, everybody will see it as known to be good. Everybody will see it as known to be evil.